Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Night of the Podcast.
I'm an unhappy and happy camper hosting Dark Night of the Podcast this month. And even without my regular co-host, I'll podcast until I die. Listeners, this is a episode that we told you was coming. Roger is off filming his next film, Meet, which I'm sure if you've been following Roger on social media, you've been seeing all of the awesome promo art, Indiegogo stuff that he's been posting about that. But the time has come. So he is there filming. He is devoted to Meet for the month. So he will not be with us. But he is with us in spirit, and we all want to wish him the best because filming an indie film, as my co-host today knows, is quite the chore. So while I'm unhappy that I don't have Roger with me, because I've never done this without Roger. I made Roger do this without me a couple weeks ago, and I know he was a nervous wreck. I've never done this without Roger. So I'm unhappy not having my reliable co-host with me because, hey, we're used to each other. I am happy, though, that I get to bring on some awesome people to take over co-hosting duties with me. And I think for this episode, guys, you're going to be pretty familiar with my guest co-host this evening because it is the ever wonderful fellow filmmaker and fellow podcaster, Chris Moore. Chris, thank you for coming on our show.
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so excited to talk about this wacky little movie.
It is a wacky little movie. We've covered part 1 and part 2, so I only felt like it was natural that at some point I wanted to cover part 3, and it seemed like you were like the perfect person to cover this film with. So I'm excited to talk about this film with you. I feel like our listeners are probably pretty familiar with you because I feel like a lot of our listeners for our podcast probably overlap. Would you not agree? Probably.
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's like this little fun sort of queer horror group, that just sort of, we all kind of listen to the same stuff and are on the same pages and all of that good stuff.
But if there is some straggler that just happens upon this episode and has no idea who you are, no idea who I am, well, they can listen to past episodes to find out who I am. But why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, your films, all that jazz, all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I make indie movies. Absolutely. I just completed one called When the Trash Man Knocks, which will hopefully come out next year. And it's going to be super fun. And I've got movies. I've got Blessed Are the Children. I've got Triggered, A Stranger Among the Living. And my most recent one was called Children of Sin. I think they're all on Tubi and Amazon and all that stuff. And I am the co-host of Homos on Haunted Hill, which is another podcast talking about all kinds of horror and gay stuff. I guess.
The best stuff to talk about, right?
Yeah, all the good stuff.
First of all, congrats on filming or wrapping on your film. I love the title.
Oh, thanks.
I'm so excited to check it out. I've thoroughly enjoyed all of your films.
Thank you.
And we talk about this. Me and Roger talk about this quite a bit, but like it's really great to see like indie filmmakers strive to improve with each film.
Oh yeah.
Strive to go a little bit deeper with the material that they are tackling with each film. And you definitely fall under that umbrella. I feel like your films definitely show growth, not only in like the technical aspects, but also just like the topics that you're tackling. So I am super, super excited to check out your new film. I loved Children of Sin.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, talk about, guys, we talk about queer horror and sometimes the lack of it, because again, it's a comment I've made many times as well, is like there seems to be tons of queer horror fans and tons of queer horror filmmakers, but when you get right down to it, there's not a lot of queer horror out there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? It's like I do think it's getting a little bit better. I think that mostly because a lot of us are starting to think, okay, well, no one's going to come around and just drop us a bunch of money to go make our movie. So we need to actually just get out there and do it. It might be a little bit rough at first, but once you get the hang of it, you do grow and you improve. And I like to think if you have anything to say in your work, I think you'll find some kind of a fan base, so.
Definitely. And I've taken a long break. It's been a while since I've actually made a film. Teacher Shortage was the last one, and I feel like we wrapped that way back in like 2000 and like 17 or 18. So I've definitely been on a sabbatical, but I'm itching to get back to it. I have a couple scripts that I am just dying to dive into. Life happens. You know that.
I get that completely.
I know. I moved cross country twice in the same year, back from Houston to Iowa, and then from Iowa to Vegas, where I'm at now. So lots of stuff has like prevented me from diving back into it, but I'm just getting comfortable again. Like I said, I'm getting inspired watching fellow filmmakers dive into new material. So I am definitely going to move forward with one of my projects, and trust me, it'll be very gay, because there needs to be more gay horror out there. I
think so too.
There's so many gay horror fans. But with that said, check out Children of Sin, because it deals with it could definitely fall under the category of gay horror, and it is quite horrific. And it's timely considering things that are happening in our country, wouldn't you say?
Oh God, yes. Oh, every day I wake up and I'm like, what is happening? It just it's like just people are losing their minds.
They are. It's scary. But you know who else? You know who else lost her mind?
Oh, who?
Angela Baker.
Are we sure about that, or is she on the right course? I mean, because some of these people that she takes care of, okay. I mean, they kind of had it coming.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's the thing about Angela Baker. She is she's kind of a problematic villain to root for, because while
I know,
particularly in part 3, these fucking characters are insufferable. Every single one. God, every single one. Literally. Part 2, I really liked some of the bitchier characters. I love Allie in part 2. God, I love Allie. Part 3, you don't have any of those fucking people. And then even the one that you think is like, oh, she's sweet, she's a goody two shoes, she ends up being a whore. So I don't know what we're supposed to be gathering with these characters. But guys, if you have not guessed, we are talking about Sleepaway Camp 3. Teenage Wasteland. Do you remember? Are you like a pretty big Sleepaway Camp franchise fan? Do you remember like the first times you saw these films?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first one scared the shit out of me. I just found it really disturbing. I think I saw it when I was like 8 or 9, and it was just from, I think it was Blockbuster. And I was like, this is just like, who made this movie? What's going on? I was just very confused and really terrified. I didn't see any sort of campiness to the movie when I was a kid. I just thought it was really creepy. And I remember the artwork for 2 and 3 at another video store back in the day, but I never rented them. And then what happened was, and this happened all the time, was one day you would see a tape on the shelf, and the next week it would just be gone and it would never come back. And it was usually like, well, someone just checked it out and never returned it, or the tapes broke or something, and they would never replace them. So it was like, once they were gone, that was it. So I was like, I guess I'll never see those. And then they came up with the box set. Was it like early 2000s maybe, or mid 2000s?
It had to be early 2000s. Are you talking about the one with like the the red cross on it.
Yeah, the Anchor Bay one.
I own that, and I know that now it's really rare because Red Cross threw a fit.
Yeah. They did. They're like, we're not going to support this with our logo. This trash.
But I have it.
I think that was when I finally saw 2 and 3 and fell in love. Fell in love. I thought they were so ridiculous and campy and funny, and part 2 especially just has a certain energy that I think just kind of defines that sort of really fun 80s horror kind of thing. It just like, that's one of the movies. If someone were to ask me like, what would you recommend if I was trying to get into 80s horror, I would say Sleepaway Camp 2 would be in the top 5 easily.
Oh, I agree.
Absolutely.
It's so fun. It kind of runs the hard line of horror comedy, but it actually succeeds very well in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah, I love part 2. I know tonally it's completely different than the first one. While I would say like the first one is the best film of the franchise, definitely part 2 is the most entertaining of the franchise.
Yeah.
3, 2 and 3 apparently were filmed back to back, and it kind of shows. It definitely shows. 3 just, it's fun, but it really lacks, like you said, you use the word energy. It really lacks the energy that part 2 has.
Yeah. Everyone seems kind of tired. They're like, oh, we have to do this again. Like we just got finished.
Even Pamela Springsteen's performance in 3, while it's good. She is nowhere near as charismatic as she is in part 2.
No. And it's also just, I think the material is a little bit less than I think they even repeat a joke. There's one point in part 2 where I think she's in the car with someone and she says, oh, what are you looking for, a gun? And she's like, no, a drill. And they do the same thing, except this time it is a gun. It's like I'm like, well, just recycle the same joke. I don't.
But anyway, it's better than part 4. Have you seen The Return to Sleepaway Camp?
Oh, I still have PTSD. Yeah, I could not get into that. That was just a head scratcher of a movie. It's like you bring back. It was the original writer and director, right? And
yeah,
and Felissa Rose was back for, I think, was it like 15 seconds? I think at the end
she was
there?
back. Even Jonathan Tiersten was back. He had a small case. So the guy that played the counselor in part 1 was back.
Oh right, yeah.
So it's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't know what they were thinking exactly, because I just remember the main character being this really annoying, loud kid who was an asshole. I was like, this is supposed to be our lead character? Like, are we supposed to want this character to be murdered, or like what's happening here? I don't understand I don't know what the concept was for that movie exactly.
Yeah, well, Sleepaway Camp 3 does some interesting head-scratching things, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And we can just get right into the film if you're ready to discuss this little gem.
Sure. Yeah, I've got all my trash bags ready in the landfill. And
Do you have milkshake tattooed on your breasts?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but now that you brought it up, yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I'm sure your breasts are probably bigger than this lead girl. These are the smallest breasts I've seen ever in my entire life on a female.
It's probably why they hired her. They were like, you know what? This is unique. This is the best way to open our film.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about this opening scene. It doesn't make a lick of sense. So maybe your knowledge can enlighten me, because there are so many.
Oh no.
I wrote a list of like what does not make sense about this opening scene. So the opening scene is Sleepaway Camp. We get a girl, Maria Nicastro is her name. She wakes up with her alarm clock, and the first thing she screams when her mom tells her to turn the music down is, "I'm going to camp." She says it 3 times exactly the same way.
I think that's her only lines, right?
It is.
Just like a different version.
I'm going to that camp.
Leave me alone, Mom. I'm going to camp.
So she gets up and she's changing. And okay, bless this actress's heart. I don't know who she was. I don't think she's ever done another thing in her life. You could tell she just had no clue what she was doing. Like there's the moment where she like takes off her top and we see her little baby boobies. And, the director obviously wanted a tit shot in the opening scene. So he must
Right.
have told her, hey, you're gonna, turn to the camera and like show your tits because we want to see the word milkshake tattooed above your breasts. But she awkwardly just like turns to the camera, stares right into the camera for like 5 seconds. And then she kind of looks like, hey, did you get it? Did you get it? And like turns and walks away. It's so weird.
Do you think the milkshake was written into the script, or did she just have that?
She looks like she'd be the type of gal that probably had that on her.
Maybe she did. I don't know. Good for her. I mean, really, it's unique.
But she asks her mom if she wants to walk her to the bus stop, and her mom's like, at 6:30 in the fucking morning, no way. And then she's like, I'm going to that camp again for the 5th time.
It's like, we got it.
And she's like, I may not come back. Good.
And she's right.
Okay,
she doesn't.
So she goes out onto the street, and she's immediately chased down by a large garbage truck, running down the streets of New York City. There are crowds of people like watching this transpire. This is downtown New York. She could have ran into any building, anywhere, but she chooses to run down an alley where she's immediately smashed by the the garbage truck, and it ends up being Angela who gets out and throws her in the back of the garbage truck. Okay, so questions. First question. How did Angela get a garbage truck?
That is a wonderful question. Well, you see, she befriended a garbage truck driver, and they became very close, but the garbage driver did not like her song, and so she killed him, and he's probably in the back there too.
Oh, I think, yeah, there's probably a lot of bodies back there. Second question. How did she know about this girl going to camp at this exact moment of the day to chase her down?
Yeah, does she have like an inn at the camp that like gives her like a whole like roster of everybody that's going to be there? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's weird. And then third, how did she know she was going to be wearing an I Love New York shirt with a denim jacket and jeans to have the exact same outfit on?
Well, now this might sound a little woo-woo, but I think Angela's a little bit psychic is what it is. She's got the gift. And she just knew. She saw it in her mind's eye.
You know what? That's as good of an explanation as any. So I'll go.
It is now canon. It is Sleepaway Camp canon that Angela is psychic.
She could very well be. And then so she kills this poor Maria and is going to take her place at this camp, which just happens to be the same exact camp that she murdered all those people in part 2. Camp Rolling Hills, was it? Yeah, it was Camp Rolling Hills.
That's right.
So she gets on the bus. We get a scene of the wall spray painted behind her that says Angela is back. Now, I think that would be kind of a not a smart thing to spray paint on the wall after you just murdered somebody.
Not usually.
Kind of giving your identity away.
I was never sure if she did it or if someone else did, because it seemed so fast. I was like, did someone just leave that there? And how did they know that was where she was going to kill? The questions are starting to pile up here, and it's not even like 4 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, no, I think you can definitely tell watching part 3 that you're in for a really different treat, if that's the word you want to use, than part 2. Part 2, I think it's a little bit more careful in its craftsmanship. This one seems rushed. And it was rushed. Apparently, they rushed it. Like I said, they filmed it right after part 2. Everything was rushed, and it kind of feels that way. Right down to like some of the characters in this film seem very, very, very like underutilized. It's often hard in this film to even figure out like which character you're supposed to be following besides Angela as like the main character. At least in part 2, we had Molly early on. Is the main we know, okay, she's the sweet cherubic final girl, and even Sean Whitmore was a prominent character. So you had these characters that you followed through part 2. This one, it just kind of randomly bombards you with different characters, and you're never even sure which one is supposed to be the one that's going to survive until the end.
Yeah, it's basically a cast of about 105. And you don't really know much about any of these people, and they're just basically set up to be killed just one by one. And because of the way it's cut, because for some reason I'll never understand this, since these all went straight to video, at least part 2 and 3. why did they need to get the R rating exactly? Couldn't they just release it uncut? Like, why do they need to cut this down to get the R? I've never understood that. So all the death scenes are like basically rated PG-13.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because I thought I remembered that there were like uncut versions of the death scenes in this film. Because the version I watched, yeah, the death scenes are very you don't see a lot. And I remember I thought I saw a version where the death scenes were more graphic, but I could not find anything that said that's the case. So maybe in my mind as a kid,
Yeah, I know they exist. I think they were on. It was either the DVD or the Blu-ray that was out from Scream Factory.
and that might be where I saw them. But yeah, you're right, because I was like, okay, these death scenes are pretty tame. And
Yeah,
it doesn't make a lot of sense why they are so tame, when, like you said, they went direct to video. They didn't need to really cut down anything, because they weren't trying to get a rating to get into theaters. Yeah, so Angela gets to this camp, and I kind of respect the way that they do try to introduce all of these characters, because, like you said, there are a lot of them, and I feel like they at least came up with a
yeah.
reasonable way to introduce us to all of them, with this news reporter Tawny Roberts.
Who's clearly from the South. She's
Yeah.
not a New Yorker.
Well, no, and she's interviewing the kids at this new camp, because apparently it is a experiment in sharing. So she interviews the owners first, Herman and Lily. Herman played by Michael J. Pollard, who I'm assuming this is like a Betsy Palmer situation where he's like, hey, I need to buy something, so I will take this role. He's not good in this film.
Well, it's just there's a scene later on where he's with one of the campers in a tent having sex, and it's one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever seen in my life.
It's head scratching. Like, why would this young teenage girl go after Michael J. Pollard? What is she trying to get out of
What's
it?
she gonna get?
There's nothing, like, he's not, like, there's nothing she's gonna gain from it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And I've never thought of Michael J. Pollard as being a sex symbol in any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely a very like phoned in performance. He's doing like the bare minimum that he has to, I think.
Absolutely.
Because there's moments where it's like, oh, you're cringy in this. How are you an Oscar nominated actor, and why are you in this film is what I want to know.
I do love his death scene where he's just like, like it's not even.
It's terribly edited. That's the worst edited death scene in the film. Yeah.
I'm still not sure what happened. Like, did she stick in his mouth? I don't know what.
I think so. I think that's what we're supposed to assume.
Who can tell? Man.
But we get introduced to all of these characters, and basically what it is it's a camp that Herman and Lily opened to promote like sharing and community, because half the campers are from upper class families and half the campers are from lower class homes, as Herman says. Whew. Okay. This film, I don't know, could this be made today, do you think? Because the stereotypes,
oh god, yeah,
are rife in this.
It's pretty bad. I mean, but like, it's like the tone is so goofy that maybe it could, but I don't, because it's clearly poking fun at just this. I don't know. It's like you're never really sure what the motivations are of Herman and Lily exactly. Like, I feel like Lily might want some sort of notoriety or fame or something. I don't know. Because she seems more on board with this whole thing than he does. He just seems kind of bored and like he doesn't really want to be there. But she's very enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of insinuated that they're doing it for like the money, because later on there's that conversation that the girls have where Arab asks Cindy how much she paid, and she's like, "Oh, $3,000," and Arab's like, "Oh, I bet you the government pays them $3,000 for us too." And then there's the whole thing about Lily being cheap.
Oh yeah.
Burying the garbage out back instead of having a garbage service come and pick it up. And so I think it's like they're trying to make money from it, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just can't figure out the motivations completely here. Like,
I don't know, but these stereotypes, guys, are
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. I mean, you got even down, and it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just like it's everybody across the board is like the extreme stereotype of what they're supposed to be. Right down to like this scene where, after the rough kids introduce themselves, there's Tony from L.A. who's supposed to be like the heartthrob of the bunch. Marsha, can we just acknowledge the names? I know in part 2 they named most of the characters after like the Brat Pack of the 80s.
Yeah.
In this one we get a mixture of West Side Story and the Brady Bunch.
And a little bit of the monsters too, because you've got Herman
and Lily.
Lily.
Oh my god!
So it's like this weird.
I didn't even think of that.
Mix and match of all these random things.
Oh, bless their hearts for going there, I guess. But Marsha makes the comment to Cindy that Tony is so cute.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh Jesus!
Cindy's response is, "Oh, he's Mexican."
It's like, really? Come on. And immediately Cindy is built up as probably the most hateable character in the movie. She is horrific. Like just the worst.
Yeah. Racist, spoiled.
Awful.
Like, I appreciate though they don't go like the bitchy sexy route with her like they did with Allie.
Yeah.
Allie in part 2 was such a great character, and she really nailed the sexy bitchy girl quite a bit. Cindy is not necessarily sexy, but she definitely has the bitchiness down.
Yeah, she's like a Marjorie Taylor Greene in training. She's like, I'm glad Angela took her out because she wasn't going to amount to anything, truly.
And her death scene's pretty cool too.
It is neat, yeah.
Yeah. So the reporter mentions on air about when she's recording her broadcast about the murders that took place there last year, and it upsets poor Lily, who, it's like, you promised me you weren't going to talk about the murders. I will say, I like Lily. I
Lily's
feel like
my favorite.
Yes, I feel like the actress is pretty strong. She's probably the strongest.
Great.
Of the bunch, and I have a qualm with her death scene that I'm going to bring up when we get there. She gathers all of the kids into the lunch hall, and Maria, aka or Angela, she took over the Maria character who's supposed to be at this camp, but it is Angela, so we'll just call her Angela. But in the film, all the other campers know her as Maria. The reporter confronts Angela about like, "Oh, you look rough for your age." Angela's, "Yeah, it's a lot of bad drugs." The reporter immediately, what the fuck is up with this lady just asking a random kid for Coke? It's like, I need some Coke. Can you get it for me?
And just like, yeah, there's a vending machine in there.
Well, and then Angela realizes what she means. So she's like, hey, wait a minute. I'll be right back. So she goes into the cabin and puts was it Comet?
I think it's Comet, yeah.
Drain cleaner in a little bag. She's like, that's the problem about doing drugs is you never know if it's pure or not. She goes out. She gives the reporter the little baggie and says, here you go. You're my favorite newscaster. Enjoy your life. What's left of it. The reporter literally drives down the road and okay, Chris, Comet has a very distinct smell. Have you ever used it?
Yeah, I don't know. She must be very dense.
Yeah. I mean, you open that baggie, it's going to smell like bleach because Comet has a very bleachy smell. But she just sniffs away. And it reminded me, last week we covered Death Drop Gorgeous, and their opening scene I definitely compared to this because there is a character that just randomly sniffs something that's given to him, and he has the exact same sort of death scene, which I thought
yeah, that's right.
But she immediately starts coughing up blood and is dead in the middle of the road. But I want to know, nobody found her car, nobody found her dead body laying in the middle. I mean, she's literally parked in the middle of the street, and you don't hear about her. I can't imagine there's not other people driving by.
You never hear anything again. And this takes place over 3 days, I think?
Yeah, because they're walking through that. They're together for 3 days, and by the third day, Angela's killed everybody. Yeah. So back at the lunch hall or whatever you want to call it, we get more insight into these characters and what their little quirks are. You got Peter, who likes to light firecrackers and throw them around the place. You got this awkward Bobby character who his whole thing is he wants to be a politician, so he's very serious. He asks to sit with Arab, and she calls him a faggot. Some nice 80s,
These people are lovely. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Although, she was in, I recognized her immediately. She was in Night of the Demons.
That's where she's from. I knew she looked familiar.
Yeah.
She was the one in the casket, right? There
Yes,
was
yes.
yeah.
So she has a little horror pedigree behind her. And then he tries to sit with Riff and Snowboy. Ugh. God, what is up with this character?
Very shrill character.
Who just, his whole shtick is to spray paint things, apparently.
Yeah, and just shriek. It's Teenage Wasteland. Oh!
Yeah.
Like, okay, sir, calm down. Like,
Riff pulls a knife on him, and you would think that would be immediately like grounds for pulling this kid out and sending him back to where he came from. But apparently it's perfectly fine. So, but he ends up sitting with Angela at her table. And at first you kind of think that he is like the nice guy and like they're going to bond and stuff like that, the way they're talking. And then you get like this whole thing with Lily coming up to the front of the room, telling the group that they are going to break into 3 groups for the weekend. She has to tell Riff to turn down his radio because Riff is just a useless asshole in this movie. Everything he does is just to annoy everybody else. She also mentions that there's going to be a third counselor. As like Cindy is asking how they're going to go to the bathroom, and Riff wants to know what they're going to eat all weekend, which is going to be fish. I don't know if I could eat fish all for 3 days, but during this time, how does nobody see this? Because Herman is like standing next to Jan with his crotch right in her face, like literally inches. And he's like thrusting it forward, and then he like lifts up his shirt and he has a Playboy belt buckle on.
Is this supposed to turn her on?
Well, apparently
I guess
it does.
but I mean, I don't think it would provoke a strong urging in me, but I mean, good for you. I don't. Yeah.
That's the most puzzling part of this movie is him and this Jan girl who literally has like 2 lines in the entire film before she's gone.
Did they know each other before coming to the camp? I don't understand this. Like,
it's that's a good it's a good question. It's so weird. Yeah, how did they pick these people? Maybe they have a relationship before they got to this camp, and that's why she was picked.
Yeah. It was rigged.
Snowboy asks if the guys get to sleep with the girls, and Arab says no because they're afraid we'll fuck. But just then, the third counselor shows up, and wouldn't you know it? Who is it?
Oh no! Oh, it is the father of Sean from the last movie.
It is the father of Sean Whitmore. It's Barney Whitmore.
Yeah, and he's a cop. That's not good. That's not going to be good for Angela.
No, she tries to like put on her glasses and stuff. I will say I like the fact that they make that connection, because there is a moment in part 2 where Sean's talking to Molly and he tells her like his dad's a cop and like, he has to live under these strict rules and blah, blah, blah. So I do like that they pulled that element from part 2 to bring it into part 3, but it seems a little contrived. I'm also not a fan of like how he's utilized in the film. I expected like a bigger confrontation.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like, I feel like it's a really cool idea to sort of bring back, the surviving parent of a murdered kid from one of these movies, but it's like they don't give him anything to do. He just kind of talks about like, yeah, if I ever saw her, I'd kill her. And then he finally does, and she kills him. So it's like there's no confrontation
without even a struggle. Like,
no.
I mean, I'm like, oh, really, Barney? Come on.
They kind of throw that away.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. So when Barney introduces himself as a cop, Riff immediately starts to be like just annoying and like burping real loud. And Tony asks, "Do you have a problem?" And Riff's response is, "Suck my dick," and then he calls him a slur.
Oh yeah, another lovely character. It's just God.
And they brawl until Barney breaks them up. Of course, because it's a Sleepaway Camp movie and we need more boobs, that we do get this little moment in the girls' cabin where all of the girls are undressing. We see Jan's boobs, we see Arab's boobs, we see Angela in this like corset type bra that Arab's like, how do you get that off with a can opener? And then Marcia calls them over to see on the wall that it is spray painted in the cabin. Fuck Angela Baker.
How dare they?
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment that you get a conversation about like how much the rich people paid or the rich kids paid to get to come to this camp, which was, like I said, $3,000 to attend. Again, I think it's like meant to insinuate that like Barney and Lily are just like pocketing that money, because at the end of the movie they're planning on taking a trip to Europe.
Ugh, of course they are. Ugh, can't trust them.
No, especially Barney.
No, with his stupid Playboy belt buckle.
Or Herman. I'm sorry, it's Herman. Herman and Barney are such like weird names that like they're interchangeable. I think I said I meant Herman.
I guess Barney. Do you think they got that name from the Andy Griffith Show? Maybe like Barney Fife. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's just kind of
because he's not really from the other ones that they were pulling the inspiration from. So,
or like Tony says, Barney Rubble. It could be Barney Rubble.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
They venture off into groups, and Barney, the real Barney, stops Maria and asks to see some ID. Like, why does he need to see ID? Don't you think this would have been like taken care of before the kids got to camp? Like that their identities were verified. They literally have a table set up to check IDs. I'm like, it's a little late for that. They're already there.
Yeah, like this is a little like, do we need this a little bit?
But he does tell her that she looks pretty rough. I love these people are just so like comfortable telling her she looks like shit. You look like shit.
That's so rude.
It's like it's mentioned like 50 times. You look terrible for being 17.
Well, I mean, her town didn't have any fluoride in their water. Okay, like that's what happens.
Oh, so they get broken into pairs or broken into groups while Snowboy is spray painting trees, and he spray paints Bobby's map. You get these little moments that try to, like I said, characterize Barney as being like a good guy that's just there like doing this because he wants to make amends for his son being murdered there last year, because he takes his group into the woods, and right away he's going to break the rules and give them hot dogs for dinner.
Oh, Barney.
and Tony's like, well, yeah, of course you can break the rules. You're a cop. And then Barney launches into the fact that his son Sean was murdered at the same camp last year, and everyone becomes immediately sympathetic to him, and even Tony apologizes. I don't know. And now you switch from Barney's camp to Herman's camp, where Angela's chopping wood. And I do like this little moment where Herman's like, where did you learn to chop wood like that? And she's like, actually, I've never chopped wood before, but I've chopped other things.
If only they knew.
And Barney calls them over to go fishing. And immediately Jan like throws a fit and goes into her tent. And Barney stays behind to console Jan, and he keeps saying like, that's no way to talk, sweet pea. Oh, sweet pea.
That's actually a really good impression of what he does in this movie.
It's terrible. Sweet pea. Come on, sweet pea. You don't have to eat fish if you don't want, sweet pea.
I got my penis right here. It's like,
well, yeah. Apparently that woos her, because they're screwing in the tent here in about 3 seconds. I don't know.
It's so uncomfortable.
Watching this old man fumble around, and it's fucking Michael J. Pollard. Come on.
I know. It's just so ridiculous. I mean, if it was like, I don't know, Sam Elliott or some shit, I'd be like, sure, but come on.
Oh, it's terrible. So Maria, Snowboy, and Peter are down fishing. I do like, again, they do a good job of like trying to connect part 2, because there's this fun little moment where Angela catches the hockey mask that she wore in part 2. I think it's a fun little like throwback to part 2.
And then at some point they're like, what day is it again? And they're like, Saturday the 14th. And like I see what y'all did there.
Yeah.
I see it.
And these guys can't just help but be annoying, because Peter immediately takes a firecracker and puts it in a fish's mouth and like throws it at Angela. And so Maria like takes off screaming because the firework scares her, and she finds Jan and Barney making out in the tent. Ugh.
Yes, if that's what you can call it. I don't know. It was just frightening.
I mean, he's licking her bare boobs.
I guess maybe that's why he took the part. He's like, I can lick the tits of a 25-year-old. I mean, I don't know.
I would imagine. Like she pulls down his pants and he's wearing long johns, which I I mean, God, if you want to, get me hard right away, show me an old man in long johns.
Some long johns.
Good grief.
I am moist.
But Angela shows up and finds them in the tent. And yeah, this death scene, for being like the first of the major like characters, and I know they're not even major characters, but like it's pretty lame because he comes out of the tent and she like is beating him repeatedly with this branch, and his pants are down to his ankles, and he finally falls to the ground, and it's really terribly edited. Like you mentioned, like it's really hard to know what happened. Like you see him fall, but then then there's an edit cut to he's now laying face up, which he wasn't when he fell, and then he like lets out that weird and he's apparently stabbed in the mouth with the branch.
I guess, but then it cuts away to his face again, and he's still like breathing. Like you can see, like he's just like still twitching. But I don't even know if he's dead. I don't think he actually died. I think he's still out there somewhere in his long johns, just becoming one with the woods. I don't know.
Looking for fresh 25-year-old nipples to lick.
Yeah.
I don't.
Sweet pea.
Because yeah, Sweet pea, are you there, Sweet pea? Oh, so, and then of course Jan gets out of the tent with her big boot. I mean, she has some big jugs on her. They're bouncing around, and Angela like beats her in the head once with, "I don't think this would kill you." I mean, it's a branch about the size of. I mean, it's not like it's a 2x4.
And then she's got that crack, like something about like it's good that you're dead now because in a few years your breasts would be sagging so bad or something. It's like,
yeah, in a few years your breasts would be sagging something terrible. They try to give Angela the one-liners that I found worked in part 2 pretty well. I feel like a lot of them fall flat.
They're
here.
not as good. No, there's something a little bit off. It's like a little bit more forced. I don't know. It just sort of, and it also kind of feels like it's just sort of repeat everything from part 2, and it just doesn't. It just feels a little bit stale.
Yeah, I feel like this film is trying to take its comedy element cues from part 2 and embed them in here, but it doesn't. There's something, like you said, there's something off about this film. I don't understand, because it's the same director, it's the same lead actress, but it just does not have the sizzle that part 2 has. And I guess maybe it's the cast.
I don't know. I mean, it's
and the fact that they were probably rushed.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably had like a few days break in between 2 and 3, which is, which as you would know is not much time to take between 2 movies. Like that's got to be exhausting.
No. Especially for Pamela Springsteen, staying in this character for so long.
Yeah.
It's probably grueling for her. By this time. She's like, what the fuck am I doing? Why did I agree to this? And it's a shame because, we talked about this in our part 2 episode. It's a shame that she doesn't embrace these films.
Yeah.
Because, she could be doing, she could be doing conventions. She could be making a decent, I don't want to say decent living because I'm sure she's fine. She's like, I think she's like a painter or something now, but it's just sad that she doesn't embrace these films because they're so fun and they do have a fan base behind them. She's definitely not on the same level as like Felissa Rose, who has totally made the Sleepaway Camp films and her role. And that's her life now. And she loves her fans. She travels to all these conventions. It's a shame that Pamela Springsteen sort of seems embarrassed by these films.
Yeah. I don't know what it is because she's very good, especially in part 2. She's wonderful. She's very, very funny and charming. But yet she just never, I think she did this movie and then she kind of just retired from acting completely. And I don't know, because no one's ever really gotten to interview her about it. So no one really knows how she feels about it. It's sort of,
I think they reached out. I think people have reached out to her. I think like they reached out to her to do like commentaries on the DVDs and Blu-rays, and she's refused. I know I've heard that people have reached out to her to do conventions and she's refused. She just doesn't want to be associated with these films. which is interesting. Later that night at camp, Snowboy and Peter are up to their regular shenanigans, annoying Maria. Peter's throwing fireworks at her. Snowboy is spraying her tent, and she makes the comment, "Why did I think this year would be any different?"
I don't know, Angela.
And you see the contrast, because at Barney's campsite, they're just having a fun time. They're sitting around the campfire just chatting, and Marcia has to go to the bathroom. And can we stop and acknowledge that Marcia is played by Melanie Griffith's sister?
Yes, Tracy, who was also in what was that movie? The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yes.
Another horror film.
She is, you know what? She's good in this. She's charming.
Yeah.
She's not given a lot to do because the cast is so large.
Yeah.
And that is another thing that's kind of interesting, because Sleepaway Camp 2 also had a very large ensemble cast, but I don't feel like the character of Molly ever felt like underutilized. Ultimately, Marcia ends up being the quote unquote final girl, but it doesn't feel like that for the majority of the film.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, really, she and Angela don't even really communicate until like the last 5 minutes of the movie. I mean, it's, they don't really do a lot.
I feel like they try to make Marcia like a knockoff Molly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I liked Molly's character a lot better because you knew her intentions, and she came across as being extremely innocent. They do this thing at the end of this movie that we'll talk about that I think was a sort of a mistake with her character. And you know what I'm talking about. Right?
Yeah, it's just not. It just doesn't completely work.
It totally contradicts her character quite a bit. But so Marcia has to go to the bathroom, and Barney makes Tony escort her there. And, this is like the first moment that you see that there is like a thing developing between Marcia and Tony. There's this raccoon scare that we get that happens so many times in these types of films. Wasn't there a raccoon scare in part 2 too, I think?
I don't know. There's not enough raccoon scares. We have a lot of cat scares, not enough raccoon scares.
And it's a cute little raccoon. And of course,
Adorable.
Tony is like freaked out about it. So she has to make fun of him the rest of the
like
the
for
movie.
the rest of the movie.
I know. And then that evening we cut back to Angela's camp, where she is I mean, we just cut right to it. She's putting firecrackers in Peter's nose.
Yeah.
And she lights it, and right as Snowboy kind of wakes up because he hears the noise, he turns and sees that it explodes and blows poor Peter's face to smithereens. I mean, it's a cool death scene. It looks pretty cool. You do get a shot of like the aftermath. Yeah, the whole thing is after Snowboy sees that Peter has been dead, Angela comes up beside him and hits him in the head with another branch, and then drags him into the tent with Jan and lights it on fire. And I always found this moment disturbing, because when she lights the tent on fire, she douses it with gasoline. You hear him like screaming.
He's still alive. Yeah. It's like, ooh, nasty.
And then she proceeds to roast some marshmallows.
As one does. I mean, I've done it so many times after I've killed campers, It's just fun.
I'm sure it adds a distinct flavor to the marshmallow.
It does. Little Snowboy seasoning.
I'm not. Snowboy was kind of annoying, so I'm glad.
Super annoying. Just like he was a gremlin, just like causing mayhem.
So the next morning at camp, we are now at Lily's campsite, and Riff has his music going. And of course, Cindy does not like his rap music because she tells him to turn it down multiple times. Lily is just lounging around doing nothing, which becomes basically her whole character. She lounges around, reads, demands people to go do her errands for her, and she cooks steak while
She cooks steak because she's allergic to fish.
She's allergic to fish, so she's always cooking this delicious looking steak on the grill next to her. Angela shows up, and she starts to do this thing that she did in part 2, where she, has a excuse for everything. In part 2, it was, I had to send him home. In this one, Barney told me to come to this camp. And so she tells Lily that Herman says she's supposed to switch with somebody. And Arab's comment is, well, which shithead are you supposed to switch with? And Angela says, oh, you. And I do like this moment, because Arab was getting Lily her coffee, and the minute she finds out she's not staying, she like dumps it out right in front of her.
I do like that bit.
But they're walking through the woods, and again, this Arab's like, how old are you supposed to be again? 17. You look terrible. This poor Angela.
I think the moral of this film is don't tell women that they look old and ugly because they will kill you.
Well, yeah, they get to the campsite, and Arab's like, "Where's the third tent?" And Angela's like, "Oh yeah, it kind of got destroyed last night. It was pretty wild here last night. That's your tent. I think Snowboy and Riff or whatever may be in there." So she goes and she looks in the tent, and Angela kicks her inside the tent, and she's like, "You bitch!" Angela immediately grabs an axe, and as poor Arab kind of crawls out of the tent, she whacks her in the neck with this axe, and it is I guess it looks okay. I've seen worse.
It's a decent effect. I think maybe this was one of the death scenes that maybe was positively impacted by a quicker edit. Maybe, I don't know.
It could be because the fake the head looks extremely fake, but we only get a glimpse of it, so it's not as noticeable. So Angela goes back to Lily's camp, and they are just discussing random things like, what's your favorite movie? What's your astrological sign? Riff says that his favorite movies are ones with tits and blood. And it offends everybody, including Cindy. She's like, why do we always have to listen to that rap music? And he says, it's better than country. Okay, so we delve into some extremely racist terms here that we won't be repeating.
No, she goes full on bigot, says horrible things.
She full on calls him the N-word multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
He responds by throwing oatmeal in her face. It's funny that like Lily is so dismissive of it. She doesn't like make Cindy apologize for using that word. She's like, oh, Cindy, just go lay down or you're fine.
Yeah. She doesn't really like she never really takes up for anybody. She's always just like standing there like, y'all sharing, caring. Like she doesn't really ever say like, you're being a terrible person. Can you like shut the fuck up?
No. And she like totally dismisses it because she after that whole incident happens, which to me would be a big deal. I mean, you have a racial slur used, you have oatmeal thrown in somebody's face. It's pretty big. She just like dismisses it and then asks Angela what her favorite color is. And Angela's response is blood red.
I would have never guessed.
And Bobby has to chime in and said, oh my God, me too.
Fucking Bobby.
I don't know what to think.
Nerd.
I don't know what to think about Bobby, honestly.
It's such a Dumbo.
Yeah, he's awkward. He's goofy. Like I said, when you're first introduced to him, you think he's going to be like the goofy, nice guy that might actually be a true like friend for Angela's character, but it ends up totally not being that way. Like I said, like we said at the beginning of this episode, every fucking character in this film is despicable.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all terrible.
Although, okay, I just say that, but we go back to Barney's camp and they're sitting around the campfire, and we have to mention these two characters that I feel bad for these actors because they got really shafted with screen time, and just like we have Anita, who actually seems pleasant. Like there's nothing really ever hinted at Anita's character that she's like this horrible person. So we can't say all of them are horrible. I just wish we knew more about her and she had a little bit more to do in the film.
Yeah, you don't really get a good idea of who she is, or I mean, I do think she has maybe 4 lines, if that.
And she's extremely likable in her lines.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just used to up the body count. The same with the character of Greg as well, who he has even less lines. It's just, it's so funny that they gave us this, like you could have cut these two from the film and it would not have affected anything at all.
It probably, yeah, because they just pop in occasionally, show up for the finale, but like they haven't really earned their place in the finale because I feel like, that should be a place for like the main characters, but there's not really a main character in this movie. So what are the rules? Like, I don't know.
They don't have any interaction with Angela throughout the entire film. And, so it gets difficult to, follow Angela's motive. In part 2, it was established that she's killing people that she feels deserves it. And that carries over into part 3 to a certain extent, because like, I forgot to mention, like, she kills Maria at the beginning of the film. How does she know, like, if her whole motive is, oh, I'm killing people that deserve it? Like, you don't even know this girl.
Yeah, I feel like her motives are a little bit murkier here. It's like she's just kind of gone off the deep end completely and is just killing everybody.
It feels that way because like Anita doesn't do anything to her, Greg doesn't do anything to her, and they're murdered at the end of the film.
Yeah, it's not fair.
No, Anita asks Barney like about Angela, and Angela's like, "Oh, nobody knows what happened to her. There's no pictures of her because nobody wanted to take pictures of her at camp at Rolling Hills."
Oh, poor Angela.
I know. I'm like, really? She won Counselor of the Week that one week. Nobody took a photo to commemorate that occasion.
Come on, you got to have something.
And Tony asks, "What would you do if you ever saw Angela Baker?" And his response is, "I'd kill her." And again, you think that is setting up like a big battle between these two, and it
absolutely
goes fucking nowhere.
And literally nowhere. They finally have their confrontation later on, and it's like,
It's a lame confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Now Lily is having her group do a trust game where they blindfold each other, and of course Angela is paired with Cindy, who is immediately like, you just want to punch this bitch because she's doing all this obnoxious shit. She's tying the handcuff, or she's tying Angela's hands too tight. She's leading around the woods talking about, she's using the N-word again, saying, oh, he would have loved to kill me because he could go brag to all his homies that he killed a white girl. I'm like,
oh God, she is awful. Like, she is truly the most despicable character of all time. God.
And then like she leaves Angela like standing in the middle of the woods. She's like, oh, I gotta have a ciggy. And she's doing it just to be a fucking bitch, because she literally takes one puff from the cigarette and throws it on the ground. And then she finds this turtle. Are turtles generally in the middle of the woods?
I mean, I guess it's within the realm of possibility, but I don't know.
But she finds this turtle and puts it on Angela's neck. And Angela's like, oh my God, something's touching me. And Angela demands that she takes the blindfold off of her because it's going to be Cindy's turn. And Angela ties Cindy up, puts the blindfold on her, leads her to a flagpole, and asks Cindy 3 questions. Are you a cheerleader? Yes, I am. Figures. Are you a virgin? No, of course not. Do you do drugs? Who doesn't? Strike 3. So she hooks the flagpole hook to Cindy and starts hoisting her up. Angela's pretty tough for being a little skinny girl. I mean, she's lifting this girl that's pretty big up to the flagpole.
She's got some strength.
But I like it. I like this death a lot.
Yeah, this might be my favorite.
Yeah, I cringe when I hear the noise of like the head hitting the cement.
Oh yeah, it's good sound effects.
Yeah, because she raises her up to the very top of the flagpole, and Cindy's like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And Angela says, "Because you're a fornicator, cheerleader, drug taking nice girl." And she drops her on her head, and you hear just like. I wish they would have went hard with this death, because this really would have been cool to see. Like, come on, use a fake watermelon like the Toxic Avenger did. Come on.
I think they did. I think, because I do remember this one being cut a lot. There was definitely at least a shot of the brains and stuff at the end, but
I think you're right. Because I remember it being. I remember this one being gorier, and I remember Lily's death being gorier.
Yeah, there was more blood spraying, I think.
So now we're done with Cindy, which is fine with me. Okay, perfect.
Thank God. Go away, Cindy.
Yeah. So Angela goes back to camp, and Lily is just being the ultimate lazy bitch, telling Maria to go, or telling Angela to go back to camp, bury her garbage bag, bring her more bug spray, to take the old trail. And Angela's like, isn't that where the cabin is, where they found all those dead bodies last year? And of course, Lily is taken out. How do you know about that? Oh, I think I read about it. Sure you did, but don't tell. And Lily's adamant. Don't tell the others. You'll spook them.
think, wouldn't this have made the news though? I mean, wouldn't they have known?
You would think. I mean, this would be national news.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine nobody knows that this isn't the camp where like 20 people were brutally murdered last year.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Not at all.
Angela goes back to the main cabin, and then we get this flashback of her singing the Happy Camper song. I don't know, Chris. I did not have the motivation to go back and watch part 2, but in my mind, like, I don't know, is this actually taken from part 2, or do you think they refilmed this? Because it seems a little bit different, and there's like weird people in the audience that aren't in part 2.
It might be like an alternate take. You know, like they might have done it a few times. It looks like there's a moment where she sings a bum note, and on her face you can see her kind of like roll her eyes, like, oh, I just screwed that up. And I don't remember that in part 2.
And I don't remember some of the stuff she says during this
I don't
speech.
either.
So, and then you cut to the audience, and it's like there's people there that were not in part 2. So you could be right. They either they used they used a take that they didn't put in the actual final film of part 2, or for some reason, maybe part 2 wasn't done yet, because if these were filmed back to back, maybe part 2 wasn't finished. You know, maybe it hadn't completed post-production. So they just refilmed it, because it does not seem like the same scene to me. And I could not.
Yeah, this whole, it's just a little, it feels like about 5 minutes worth of padding to make it feature length, basically, because this movie is super short.
It is super short. It's literally 80 minutes long, and 5 minutes of that is this particular scene of her having these flashbacks of when she won counselor of the week or whatever it was. Yeah. But yeah, I was really, I'm going to have to go back. I was like, should I go back and watch part 2 to see if but I don't think it is. I think it's
a different take. It's gotta be.
It has to be.
Gotta be.
So she goes back to camp, apparently, because now we are at a moment where Lily makes Angela and Bobby do the trust game, where she ties their feet and their hands together, and she tells them to go catch fish for dinner. So we get this moment. Again, it's kind of a sweet moment, but then it just switches at the flick of it switches to something more definitely sinister real quick with Bobby, because he's at the dock and she's helping him. It's real cute. She's helping him bait the hook, and Bobby, his dorky self's like, oh my God, can I tell you something? I think you're really nice. She's like, oh, well, thank you. And he says, do you think I'm nice? And she's like, yeah, I guess. And he's like, can I tell you something else? I like being tied up to you. It turns me on. And then he literally tries to rape this girl right there on the dock.
Yeah. It's like, well, great, Bobby. Now you're a piece of crap too. Great.
Oh, it kind of upset me, because I thought these two could have been, oh, this could be the guy that changes Angela. No, he's a rapist. He's a rapist.
Yeah, it could have really been something special, and he just had to go and do that.
And then he makes the comment, I thought you wanted it. Your type always wants it.
It's like, what type would that be? I mean, really? I mean, like,
well, underprivileged, apparently. Doesn't he call her underprivileged when they first meet yet? Underprivileged girls must just want to be raped. I don't know what his insinuation there is.
I mean, in the world of Sleepaway Camp 3, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, this film defies all logic and everything.
Well, they take the fish back to camp, and they caught a pretty good bundle. And Riff, Lily asks Riff to clean the fish. It's only fair, right? He refuses to clean them. And even Angela goes into his tent to tell him it's only fair. We spent 2 hours trying to catch these. What does this motherfucker do? He pulls a gun on her. I mean, this dude has a knife. He has a gun. It seems problematic. They weren't like checked before they came to this camp for weapons.
Yeah. Right? What is going on here? Like, if this is such a weird idea for a camp, like, I just don't. Where's he keeping these? Like, I don't get it. God.
Okay, so MIA for like the last 20 minutes has been Marcia, but now we do get a scene with her and Tony playing the trust game, and she's blindfolded, and they're kind of being real flirtatious towards each other. And then they sit down and they just have small talk about like her hometown. She asks him if he's in a gang, and of course he is, because it has to be stereotypes 101 in this film. He's in a gang, and he says the only way I can get out is to move. And she says, well, maybe you can move then. And he's like, I don't know, maybe I should move to Idaho or Ohio, wherever you're from. And they're cute together. Like, they're really cute together. I like these two together. Their chemistry is actually pretty palpable.
Yeah. They make it work.
They do that. You see the moment where she like puts her hand on his leg and starts to like move it towards his crotch. I'm like, you go, girl. You get what you want.
Yeah, really. You're in the woods. No one's going to see you. Have some fun.
He tells her she's pretty and then asks if he can kiss her. And of course she says yes. And they start to make out pretty hot and heavily when this girl pulls out a condom. And she says, if we're going to make love, you need to wear one of these.
Wow. You know, like, I respect her for that.
I do, but was she planning on getting laid during this trip? Just to be walking around with condoms?
A girl's got to prepare. I mean, she's got like a stash.
Again, yeah, but it makes the ending of the film seem like weird with her character.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but hey, at least she is using protection. She's not going to get pregnant. She's not. But apparently, it's insinuated they fuck right there in the woods. Okay, perfect.
Good times.
Hey, I mean, it could be hot, right? You're in the middle of the hot, sticky woods.
I mean, when at Camp New Horizons,
you're getting definitely some new horizons in you.
That's right.
Angela goes back to the camp and asks Lily to play the trust game with her and that she will lead her back to camp so they can check on Cindy, because she has said that Cindy is back at camp in one of the main cabins because she has a headache. She agrees. Lily agrees and says, yeah, I suppose I should go. During their walk through the woods, Maria is asking Lily about, are you guys planning a trip? And Lily says, yeah, me and Herman are planning a trip to Europe. And you see that this is problematic to Angela because she's like, oh, well, I saw roaches in the kitchen. Anna, I might have saw a mouse. And why are you burying your trash out back? And Lily says, oh, it's because the trash service is so expensive. Any penny we can save is worth it, because, taking this over was not the easiest. People don't want to come to a place where they find out everyone was slaughtered.
I love her delivery of the word slaughtered. I love that. Slaughtered. It's like, I just love it.
Well, what ends up happening is, as Angela leads her to the trash dump and literally like asks her, did you buy your tickets yet? And Lily says no. And she's like, good, because you won't be needing them. And she pushes this poor old woman into these trash bags. And this actress is pretty great. She's screaming, get me out of here. The rats are going to eat me alive. Angela ends up burying her and up to her neck in dirt in these trash bags. So we have to keep in mind, her hands were tied behind her back. She's an old woman. She's not going to be able to climb out of a pile of trash bags. Angela proceeds to then get a lawnmower and mow this poor woman down. Her head, like, literally chops this woman's head off with a lawnmower. I think that this, for me, is like the most, when I think about, okay, all the ways in this movie, if I had to pick the one I don't want to die, it's this one. I feel like this is horrific as fuck.
Yeah. This one's not good. This one's just, yeah, this would be a bad way to go.
It would be a horrible way to go, seeing the blade. And I want to know, like, what was the justification of using the most horrific death on probably the character in the film, besides like Anita and Greg, simply because they're not in the film very much. There really isn't like that much of a nasty person. I mean,
yeah, she's like lazy and thrifty, but there are worse things one could be, I suppose.
I mean, I would much rather have seen like, Cindy or whoever get their head run over with fucking Herman deserved it more than this woman did.
Yeah. But can you imagine if he was there?
But it's a horrific death. I mean, and I think it is cut off because I remember seeing more blood and like stuff shoot onto the trash bags. And yeah.
Wasn't there another movie? Was it the Scream Queens show that kind of did the same thing with the lawnmower and the being like buried in the yard?
Yeah, you're 100% right. First season of Scream Queens. Yeah, it was Scream Queens. It was the first season. Yeah. I mean, horrific death. Poor Lily did not deserve this fate.
No.
I mean,
no.
But yeah.
Oh, Lily, gone too soon.
Well, Angela's taking him out now. Yeah, she's taking him out fast now because she is waiting for Bobby at night and he shows up, and she immediately ties him to a tree and he thinks they're going to have sex. But instead, what she's doing, she's tying his hands. She ties his hands behind this tree and then she ties the end of the rope to her Jeep. And literally, like, he's like, oh, are we going to screw now? And she's like, well, no, not really. She gets in the Jeep and like floors it. And kind of a lame. We don't see anything. I guess we just have to insinuate that she ripped his arms off. I think this was also used in Sleepaway Camp 4, Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, now that I don't remember. I think I did block out most of that movie, so I can't remember.
It was a very
clearly.
similar death, but I wish that we would have seen at least, like, they could have afforded some fake arms, that we could have saw a shot of the arms like dragged on the ground behind the Jeep.
I think there was something. I swear that was another one that was really cut to hell. Because I remember seeing the arms getting ripped off.
I'm gonna have to pull out my my Red Cross DVD and see if the uncut deaths are on there, because I want to know, because
I think they were.
Yeah, they have to. If they're in existence, they have to be, and they should release a version of it with the deaths back in. That would be cool.
I think the problem was it was like from like I think it was from a work print, like on tape. So they were kind of like, it was not the best quality, but it's does the job.
It does the job, and I feel like fans would watch it. I know they did the same thing with like the original My Bloody Valentine. You can watch when they found all the uncut footage and put it back in the film. You have a choice back on when that DVD first came out, that you could watch the film with the gore back intact, but it was the work print, so you could definitely tell it was lower quality, but it was still cool to see it in the context of the film.
Absolutely.
And now she goes to Riff. I would have rather seen Riff's head be chopped off with a lawnmower, to be honest with you. I feel like he gets a cop-out death too. Although he's
like super annoying.
Although she wrote a rap specifically for him.
And you got to admire that. I mean, to take the time, it's not the best rap, but I mean, she's, she tried.
She tried. It's angels are pretty, angels can fly, and this angel can make you die. Like, oh, Angela,
it's all right.
stick to I'm a happy camper.
I mean, if she had a TikTok, she'd be a big old star right about now with her little raps and happy camper songs.
I would be a subscriber to her TikTok.
I think I would
absolutely. But yeah, she throws the tape in and he listens to it and he's like, what the fuck is this? And as he's crawling out, like, she knocks the tent onto him, and like there's a moment where he reaches his hand out and she nails like a giant railroad spike through his hand.
Yeah, something like that. And then is that it? Like, does she do something else? I can't remember.
She hits him a couple times with it, and then she takes another one of the giant railroad nails and like whacks him. And you don't know where she's nailing it into. I'm assuming his head or his neck, because you hear him scream and then he abruptly stops screaming as she hammers it in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes more sense.
But I don't know where it was.
It's a little confusing.
Now she ventures to Barney's camp to tell Barney that Herman wants her to switch with Marcia, because she saw Marcia kissing Tony, and we know how Angela feels about fornication.
Mm-hmm.
But Barney is smart. I will say that, because he does not allow Angela to take Marcia back by herself. He goes with.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this moment where Angela trips and sprains her ankle. And they get her to the mess hall, the cabin, the big cabin, and they're bandaging it. And, I would have liked to see more moments like this, because you can tell, like, they're being genuinely nice to her. And you get this, like, real short flicker of Marcia and Angela, like, sort of developing a bond like Angela had with Molly in part 2, but it's so fucking quick. It's like 20 seconds.
Yeah. It's blink and it's gone.
And Angela's like, do you even know Herman and Lily very well? And Barney's like, no. And Angela proceeds to tell him that they're terrible counselors. That Herman fornicates with the campers, and all Lily does is sit around all day and be lazy and does nothing. So Barney has to ask her, hey, did Herman really tell you to come and ask if you could be in our camp, or did you make that up? And she's like, I made that up because I want to be with you. And of course, Barney, being the stickler for rules, says absolutely not. We will bandage this up. We'll go back to the camp. Tomorrow's the last day, so we'll all be together anyways. Marcia makes the mistake of asking, does Lily really just sit around all day? And Angela's like, yeah, in fact, she's back there right now. You can go look it out. You can go check it out, but it's not a pretty sight.
Oh no.
And she goes out back to the trash pile. And of course, Angela took the time to dig Lily's body back out of the trash pit and set it in a lawn chair. I guess that's, hey, functional.
Killers in these movies love to prop up their corpses and display them in many interesting ways.
It's just sitting in a lawn chair with maggots crawling out of its neck stump.
It's lovely.
Yeah, well, she screams, and of course, Barney hears this and has to run out back. And this is the moment where we get of Angela like telling Marcia not to be scared and not to leave her because she reminds her of a girl she used to know named Molly. She was a nice girl too, she says. And we hear Barney then scream at Marcia to get the hell out of there. Run onto the road and get the hell out of here. So Marcia pulls away from Angela and takes off running. Barney comes in and Angela has something behind her back. And this is supposed to be like their big confrontation. This is the girl that killed his fucking son, who was a prominent part of the second film. Chris, wanted to see a fucking battle. I wanted to see like a Mrs. Loomis, Sidney Prescott type battle here.
Yes. That would have been amazing.
We do not get it. And are you trying to tell me? Well, he comes in and she obviously has something behind her back. And the first thing she says to him is, "Ooh, you look just like your son when you get angry." And you trying to tell me that this police officer who has so far been portrayed as like being very competent, he's able to do his job very well. He was able to subdue Riff earlier in the movie and get the knife away from him. Are you trying to tell me he does not know that this bitch has something behind her back?
Yeah, it's like he's not going to do anything. He's just going to stand there and just make conversation.
He literally stands there and like as she's coming towards him and he's like, "How many people have you killed this time?" And she's like, "I don't know, a lot." "You going to kill me now?" And she shakes her head. "How are you going to do it? Battery acid? A chainsaw? Are you going to cut my head off like you did my son?" And he's just standing there. She approaches him and she's like, "No, a gun." And she pulls the gun behind her, out from behind her back and shoots him. And that's it. That is it. There's no fight. There's nothing. There's no struggle. What were they thinking?
Yeah. It's like, I really feel like in a different world, they could have made his character like more of the lead, like trying to, I don't know, do something for his dead son. But it doesn't work out.
It's lame. I was super disappointed watching this and realizing that you're not getting this like showdown between Angela and Barney, who, again, a prominent connection to part 2. Like you want at least let him fight and at least let him the audience think he's going to get the best of her at some point, and then she could shoot him. But like to just let him stand there and be shot to death by this woman who he knows at this point is a fucking homicidal maniac who has murdered multiple people.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it's lazy. It's lazy. And it's not like this film, like I said, it's an hour and 20-minute film. It's not like they didn't have the time to add a couple minutes of more interaction between these two. But Barney's dead. Angela runs out and gets in her Jeep, and she's easily able to catch up to Marcia and easily able to get her back into the Jeep. And she's like, "We're going to have lots of fun together." So now you got basically Tony, Greg, and Anita are left. So they're at the camp. They're wondering where everyone is. They're like, "We should go look for them." Just a moment, Angela shows up and she tells them that Barney wants to see them back at the main camp for a trust game. And when they get back to the main camp, Angela starts tying them up and they're questioning like, "Why do you get to tie us up?" And she's like, "I don't know, because Barney said." And Anita, the probably the least developed character besides Greg, she's like, "This is bullshit. Where's Barney at?" And Angela's like, "Oh, he's coming. Oh, there he is right over there." And they all look and she's like, "Oh no, that's not Barney. Oh, here he is." And this is the moment where she like cuts the string and Barney's dead body falls from a tree right in front of them. I mean, it's cool. And you can tell they're like, "Oh, fuck, we are fucked. We just let this maniac tie us together." And she tells them they're going to play a game. And the game is to stay alive. They have 2 minutes to find Marcia. She's in one of the 3 cabins behind them. And if they don't make it in 2 minutes, she's going to kill them. If they try to run away from her, she's going to kill them. If they try to hurt her, she's going to kill them. So she starts the countdown and they're literally just like standing there. She's like, "What are you waiting for?" And she cuts poor Greg's cheek to get him to go. And they run, and I do like this. You get them all tied together. They're running from cabin to cabin. They're seeing all of the carnage of all the dead bodies because, of course, Angela, somehow being like a 5'2" woman weighing probably 120 pounds soaking wet, has been able to drag all these bodies into these different cabins and display them.
I admire her gumption. I really do.
God. Yeah, because she definitely did it. They're all in these cabins. And they finally get to cabin 3, and they see Marcia is in one of the. They see Marcia in one of the rooms in the cabin, so they all run into this room, and immediately, like 2 axes fall from the ceiling, hitting Anita and Greg and killing them.
Poor Anita and Greg.
I know. I mean, such underdeveloped characters, and it's kind of a bummer that you feel like these 2 characters were only used in the film so that they could provide a body count, a higher body count.
It's true, though. You know, they don't have much to do except die in the last act. You know, it's like,
and it's kind of a lame death too, right? Take 2 of them out at once with an axe from the ceiling. Yeah. Well, Angela congratulates them. No. She comes up, congratulates Tony and Marcia for making it, and she tells them, you 2 make a great couple. There's a payphone about 3 miles down the road. I'll see you later. I don't know. I don't know if this Angela, being as unhinged as she's been throughout this film, would just let these 2 go.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But she does. She walks out, and as she's walking out to her Jeep, fucking Marcia she just comes dashing out of the cabin with an axe. And you get a hint of a little battle between these 2 broads. I wish it would have been longer. I wish there would have been a little bit more of a chase involved because it ends pretty quickly. Angela's able to pull out her knife and stab Marcia in the leg. Marcia then hits Angela like in the thigh with the axe, and they're rolling around. And real quickly, Marcia just gets the knife from the ground because Angela dropped it when she was hit with the axe, and climbs on Angela and stabs the shit out of her. And stabs her like 4 or 5 times in the gut before Tony runs out and grabs her and pulls her away. I don't know. I'm just going to say this. Not a satisfying demise for Angela Baker, although we don't really find out that she's dead, obviously. Sleepaway Camp at this point has been pretty an established franchise. You got part 1, part 2 came out, and then this one. I feel like letting Marcia, like a character like Marcia, be the one that gets the best of Angela was a huge disappointment, considering she has nothing to do in this film.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they should have switched the death order to have Barney be the last one. That feels like that would make more sense.
Barney kind of earned it. Marcia does not earn it. And what was her motivation for coming out and confronting Angela anyways in those final moments? I mean, they were free. She let him go. Like, as far as she knew, they were going to be fine. So why run out and chase her? I just, when you think about Sleepaway Camp, I just feel like it's a big blah that the character of Marcia, of all characters in the franchise, is the one that got the best of Angela.
Marcia.
It's all about Marcia. So Tony pulls her away, and they go and call the police. How do they call the police, though? Did they walk 3 miles to call the police?
I guess so.
Because wasn't that the closest phone?
Something like that. I guess they did.
Okay. Well, hey. I mean, so yeah, because the police show up, and we get this back of the police car scene where Tony has fallen in love with Marcia. He says, "I love you so much, baby. And guess what? I will move to Ohio. We can live together forever, and we can get married." And she's like, stop, Tony. He's like, "What?" And she says, yeah, I already have a boyfriend." What a little slut. She led this poor guy on the entire film.
It's like, I guess I get what they were going for, like a kind of a little comic ending there, but it's like, just no.
It doesn't work, and it really makes you. First of all, it makes me like the Tony character way more. I want to reach the TV and give him a big hug because he is established.
Poor dude.
He's established himself as being a pretty good, decent guy despite his background. It just makes you want to punch this girl for being such a bitch. I mean, to lead this guy on the entire weekend like this is just to tell him, oh, I have a boyfriend. And she does tell him, well, you can come visit me. Why the fuck would he want to come visit you and your boyfriend?
Like, why would he want to come see you, Marsha? You lied this entire time. God.
Oh, she's terrible. She's terrible. So who knows what happened to those
Marsha.
two? I don't know. Okay.
I like to think the police car crashed and they all
Let's
died.
hope, because
on the
they're
way.
horrible
I don't
people.
know.
Except Tony.
All just
Tony
died.
could have crawled out and lived. Maybe him
He crawled out.
him and Herman are living together in the woods. And Herman can't really, he's blind now, so he just calls Tony, come here, sweet pea. Come on, sweet pea. That's the sequel I want to see right there.
I would watch. Do you think that's what the original Sleepaway Camp 4 was supposed to be about? Because no one ever knows what that was supposed to be, because it makes no sense.
It better have been.
Well, like
it would have been far more entertaining than what we ended up getting. Ugh. But we get our final scene of Angela being driven away in the ambulance. So she got stabbed like 6 times in the gut and was laying on the ground for what? Okay, so to walk 3 miles probably takes a good hour.
yeah.
So we're supposed to believe she's still alive. Okay, great. It's so we can get this little punch of a final scene where there's an ambulance person, a nurse, and then a cop. And the nurse is like, oh, she's still alive. And the cop's like, we should just kill her. She's a maniac. She's a fucking maniac. Nobody ever. I mean, I get that sentiment. I do. But really?
They're so gung ho about it.
And
Too.
the nurse like seems to go along with it. He's like, okay, well, where are we at?
Like, well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it's an okay idea.
Well,
Sure.
unfortunately, Angela is not dead, and she heard this entire conversation. So she takes a syringe and stabs the nurse with it in the chest, and then pulls it out and shoves it into the police officer's eye, and killing them both. And the driver's like, hey, what's going on back there? And Angela's final word is just taking care of business.
And what a lost opportunity to not have the end credits be taking care of business. Truly.
Well, they probably, they damn
couldn't
well they couldn't afford
no.
that.
Instead, they get some heavy metal. They love that in these movies.
Well, this is like punk heavy metal because it's Teenage Wasteland, motherfuckers, right? Yeah.
Angela.
But that's Sleepaway Camp 3. It's entertaining. It is entertaining.
It is.
I feel like it's better than 4, but like I don't consider 4 part of the Sleepaway Camp franchise. Honestly, it's terrible. To me, it's unwatchable. So like these 3, to me, the first 3 films are Sleepaway Camp, and I feel like it's fine. It's the worst of the franchise, but it's still fine. Like it's not a terrible movie. I feel like it just did not, as we've mentioned numerous times, it just never captures the charm and the charisma and just the electricity of the first or the second film. It tries, but it just never succeeds.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that like I think it's fine. It's a movie that I've seen a few times in my life, so I must like it all right, I would assume. But it's not one that I've seen too many times. There's just not enough there to really keep me coming back for more. But it's entertaining. It does its job. There are certainly far worse sequels out there, so you can do worse.
Yeah, and there are far worse 80s slasher films out there as well.
God,
I mean, this came out in 89, so it was like right at the end of the 80s, and by that time the slasher genre was pretty much dead.
Oh yeah.
So getting this out there and having it be entertaining and whatnot, I feel like that was all they could ask for. And like I said, it's fine. There's a lot of head scratching decisions with characters and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's entertaining. It's fine. I feel like I'd still watch this at some point in the future. It's a fun little trilogy. 2 and 3 are so totally different than the first one, but it still makes for an entertaining watch. So, guys, let us know your thoughts on Sleepaway Camp 3 and where would you place it in the franchise? And if you're a fan of Sleepaway Camp 4, fuck off because it's terrible. No, I'm joking.
I mean, I just feel bad for them. Truly. I mean, I don't know.
Well, okay, so quick little side thing is, so, and then we can end the episode and it'll be one of our quickest episodes ever. Yay, guys. But, okay, so this is a quick little side note. On Instagram, this was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. You know those like horror challenges you can do on Instagram, where
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
every day you like choose a different thing. Okay,
Right.
so like 2 years ago, one of the days was like worst horror sequel,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose Sleepaway Camp 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted it. And of course, many people chimed in and agreed. It was all fine. I forgot I even posted it. Literally, like about 6 weeks ago, I got all of these notifications and they were on that post. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I look at it and I it's like this guy who was like bad mouthing me and bad mouthing everybody who said anything negative about the film. And then I
God.
clicked on his profile and kind of went down a rabbit hole and found out he does this with anybody that posts anything bad about Sleepaway Camp 4. He tries to say like it's like you're misunderstanding the main character, blah, blah, you know, you should feel sympathy. Like he's serious. He's like calling people names. You know who I think it is, Chris? I think it's the actor who played that character.
Really?
I swear to God.
Oh
Guys,
my
go to my
God.
Instagram, Troy ESC, TROYESC. Find that post. You're going to scroll. You have to scroll for a while. Click on it and just go down the rabbit hole because he literally does it to anybody who posts anything bad about Sleepaway Camp 4. And I'm guarantee you,
Jesus.
I really think it's the actor who played Alan in Sleepaway Camp 4.
Oh, that's horrifying.
It is weird. I'm like, dude, you're in a shitty movie like 10 years ago. Let it go. Like, really? You're going to harass
Yeah,
people?
just embrace it. I mean, I think most actors have done their fair share of movies that aren't really well received. You just
But
move on.
it's
It's
like the
like,
only movie he's ever done too, and he's like calling people names like, "Oh, you look like you have Down syndrome," and making horrible,
oh my God,
making horrible
Jesus.
comments to people that have said terrible, that said they don't like the movie. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Wow.
This is weird. So if you're listening, you are
Oh my
please get a
God.
life. Sleep with
That is so frightening. What in the hell?
that could be a horror movie all of itself, right? Right.
I kind of like that. Yeah, just like an actor that did like one really bad sequel to a classic horror film. It was
It's gone
poorly
unhinged.
received, and
He's
then
gone.
like he just loses his mind, and it's like, no,
And
it's
almost
misunderstood.
and you know what's even kind of more disturbing, Chris, is if it's not him. That's even sort of more disturbing because there's somebody that that is that defensive of Sleepaway Camp 4. I don't want to meet this person. I don't want to meet this person.
Yeah, at least if it's the actor, there's some emotional stakes there. Like, maybe he had a great time on the set. It was a thrilling creative experience for him, and he feels bad that nobody understood it. But if it's just like Joe Schmo that was like, how can someone even defend that movie? It's really difficult. It's really, I've never met anyone that's like, what is underappreciated? Return to Sleepaway Camp. Never. Everyone's basically on the same page. It's like, what happened there? What went wrong?
And it begs the question, or it leaves me wanting it begs the question, yeah, what went wrong? But it also then leaves me wanting a proper reboot or a proper sequel to these films. And I know it was like rumored for a long time that they were remaking it and there was all these different people attached to it, but I haven't heard anything about that for years. Hopefully it happens because it's a franchise that I would definitely embrace a new film, because the farther we can get away from Sleepaway Camp 4, the better. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing about the remake. I think that was at like New Line or something for a while, maybe, and then like it just the talks just stopped completely. I'm wondering if it might be one of those movies where you couldn't really remake it the way that it was now. There's just no way. So I wonder if they're trying to find some angle to sort of make it less problematic or something, and that it's a very difficult thing to do, without just coming across like another summer camp slasher, because really what made that film so interesting and unique was, all the character stuff and all the melodrama and stuff. It's I don't know how you could remake it in a satisfying way these days.
That's a really great point, especially with the climate that we're in currently. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to definitely not be on board with a strict remake, like taking the same exact plot of part one, the first one, and moving it into this 2023, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a problem with that. And we could debate
Absolutely.
whether they should or shouldn't, but I don't know. Yeah, so that's a good point. Maybe they are trying to figure out a route they can take that's going to be unique enough, but also not as, like you said, problematic as many people think that the first film is. So that's a good point. But I do want to see it. I mean, if Felissa Rose is still, she's still gung ho about the franchise, I'm sure she'd be willing to come back. And I know that she really regrets the fact that she was not part of 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that I think she read for it, I think, but then
She
she was in
did.
college at the time and she just couldn't swing it. And
Well, it was that, and also I think she said that the directors, or the director, told her that she just wasn't meshing well with like the comedy elements of the script.
oh, okay.
So yeah, they went a different route and they got Pamela Springsteen. And again, it would have been interesting to see Felissa Rose in the role. So I really hope that they can do something with a reboot or a remake and bring her back in some capacity. But with that said, guys, yeah, let us know your thoughts on Sleepaway Camp 3. And Chris, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
If you want,
Anytime.
if you want to plug anything, let our listeners know like what you have coming up, where they can find more information about you and your films, and just anything in general.
Oh, well, Children of Sin is on Tubi. So if you've got Tubi, you can watch it for free. And I hope everyone enjoys it. It's kind of got a summer camp vibe, I guess. I don't know.
It
Ish.
does, for sure. Not a fun summer camp, but
No, like a horrible camp. The camp you would not want to go to ever.
no, especially your poor sin stick will suffer at this
Yeah,
camp.
it'll get very raw and very bruised. Yeah, you don't want to. You want to keep that in the pants.
Yeah. And you guys, check out his podcast, Homos on Haunted Hill. And yeah, because you guys have done some great films. You've covered some great films. You have some great episodes. So check that out. And I guess with that, this was my first episode without Roger. And I think we did it well. So
You did. You pulled it off. It's
I
great.
got 3 more to go with 3 different guests.
Oh, well, I believe in you. You can make it work.
Well, if they were anything like you, it's going to be a huge pleasure. So,
no. Well, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
All right, guys. With that, thank you, and tune in next week to find out who our mystery co-host will be. Good night.